have a Toro recycler that either has a Honda, which I don't think so, could, very well still could. Either way, it's a newer one. It's lived a fair life, as you can tell. The emblems are missing, and I don't think it is. I think it's a Kawasaki. Yeah, there we go. Well, anyway, so got this. You can tell it's been sitting outside for a really long time. The handle is bleached, the black is bleached. The deck, though, seems good. I think, with the exception just the bleaching and this giant hole in the bag, we're pretty good. So I think this is what we're going to try. We're going to see if the motor runs. Motor runs, we'll fix that. Then, so if you are ever in the mood for a new job career, or just career in general, I think you should, anyone listening, should get in the career of building bag frames. Let me explain. I went on the internet to see, because I have another bag, but it's on my backup mower, and that backup mower may be getting sold anyway, because a different one's going to be taking its place, a Honda that I showed a couple times ago. Mainly because of where I have to push it after redoing my backyard. It's a lot easier with the Honda than it is with the Toro. This is actually pretty wide. 1 extra inch doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. I know what you're thinking. Anyway, so I'm probably going to get rid of that. Now it has the same bag. Now a buddy of mine's needing one, so I think I might just give him my backup one, and I might just buy a new bag. But I was looking it up. The frame of the bag, by deduction, is going to be like $100. I don't understand why it's so expensive. It's literally just a square with another square that has like these 2 little pieces on the end that slide in. It's the most ridiculous thing. I just don't understand. I mean, that cost like nothing to make and took like all 10 seconds to bend, but whatever. That's not the point. So I think if this runs, I'm going to be taking my bag off, buying just the bag, the actual fabric piece, because that's $40, and the bag with the metal frame is $140 or $150, I forget. So I already have the frame, not going to worry about the frame. Just going to buy the bag, it'll look better. I'll give it to my buddy. This one will go to someone. I mean, the other bag's fine, there's no holes, it's just a bag that's obviously been used. There's been a couple grass clippings in there. So I'm going to put you down. We'll put some starting fluid down the cylinder hole. I'm going to make sure there's a spark plug is where I got this. They sometimes like to forget to not take them. So I'll go double check that and bring it back. In here is 2-cycle fuel. Just going to put down some down the choke or the throat and see what happens. Yeah, there's a plug. Two things happen there. One, we have a good motor. And did you see a whole lot of crap get ejected out underneath the deck? Not gonna lie, that's usually one thing I end up forgetting to do. But it didn't happen today. So I think I'm gonna pat myself on the back. So, let's see what we have here. I looked in the tank, and the tank is absolutely disgusting. But when I mean disgusting, I just mean like crap in there, so that's not fun. There was a whole lot of spider webs here, so I'm sure we're gonna find some friends. Or not. I'm gonna take a vacuum and try to clean this up a little bit. It's nowhere near perfect, but at least we have something to work off of. A little gas is in there, seeping out. And it's mostly water. In fact, I think that's all water. This is a little delicate. There we go. Set that off to the side. This little plate does not want to come off. Huh. Or the carburetor. Is this like on there? There we go. Wow. There we go. Okay, let's take this to the carb station. Let's see what we have. There's already water. Oof. Yeah. You see that? That's nasty. Yeah, it's like jelly. It's from fuel stabilizer. Now, I could be wrong. I have a feeling when this fuel stabilizer mixes with the ethanol, and then the ethanol eventually will mix with water, because water is just in the air, then after a while it does that. That's my theory. Nope, that's too small. It's my theory, I'm sticking to it. That's too big. I just take it out with my fingers. No, that's stuck in there pretty good. Let me look for a screwdriver. Okay, I'm gonna blow this off and put this in the carb cleaner for about, I don't know, 10 minutes. So I got the bowl out, everything's been blown dry and everything, but it's still a little crunchy. I'm gonna take a drill with a wire brush and just get that nice and clean. It's gonna take away the protective coating, but areas where it's like this, that's already gone. That's a lot better. If any one of those pieces had gotten launched into the carburetor, it would have been back on the table. And theoretically, if you keep good fuel in there all the time, you shouldn't ever really have a problem with the coating being gone. I think I also did forget to mention I took out the emulsion tube and the jet after I put it in the cleaner. I realized that, but yeah. In addition, I took a little wire, shoved down the center of the jet, and I blew through it with the air compressor. So that shouldn't be going anywhere. There we go. Yeah. We're gonna need that. So this is definitely not a Honda. We've discovered that. It's a Kawasaki for sure. I mean, I don't really know why I thought it was, but I did. So I do have to say, the last couple of days, I've been getting a decent amount of subscribers, and I appreciate that, I really do. So thank you, everyone. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I'm sure other people would look at it and be like, that's nothing, I lose that amount in a day. But I appreciate it. So that's where the dirt is. That's where I took it out. So I just put it back in the same place. There's a reason why I don't clean those. Sometimes that's removable, but that one is definitely not in this case. So I think what we are ready to do is put this bad boy on. I took my air compressor and I shoved it down the tank. Well, the nozzle. The tank's not that big, but dried it out, put a towel in there, just took a pair of pliers and just went all around. It seems to be pretty good, so I'm not worried about water in there anymore. So I'm just going to install this the opposite, and we will give it a pull. Yeah, why not show this, you know? What's the purpose of having a channel if you never show anything? So the Z or Z, as other parts like to call it, just goes in there. This one end is just a 90-degree angle. Throttle should be more or less the same as a Honda. Once it's out a certain way, you just have to push it down. There's a slot. Okay. There we go. And then this little spring could be the hardest part sometimes. This goes in a little hole right there. That actually wasn't very hard. It's like a reverse jinx. That's what happened. There we go. This bad boy goes in there. I don't want to say this is an upgraded version because it doesn't seem like it's much better, but it's definitely a different version of the other Kawasaki's that had the little auto choke that was completely horrendous decision on their part. I can't tell you how many people I've had that have just brought them back, and the only reason why was because the choke wasn't working. So naturally, I look down there, it's not in choke. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I move the choke a little bit, give it a pull, starts right up. So then you end up having to replace that piece for whatever reason. You know, that one area in a warehouse, anyone who's ever worked in a warehouse probably know, there's always one area that kind of gets ignored. That's this area. I don't want to say ignored, but you're like, well, I have to go down aisle 15. That's weird. I don't think I've ever gone down that aisle before. Or 80 or whatever. And because you're spending your time all in other ones, you're like, oh, I'll just get that one last. My point being is it takes forever to get here. Okay. I'm going to put some fuel in the tank. I already looked at the oil. It's nasty, but it is full. I don't think I mentioned that. Let's see if one of the common air filters will fit in there. Now that I do like about this new style. Before, they had their own. They went from like a little sponge, which, okay, it's not horrible. But then they went to filter, which, okay, whatever. But that filter was a different, or paper filter, excuse me. The paper filter was a different size than what Briggs and Honda would use, which is this size. So, well, the older Briggs, newer Briggs doesn't use them anymore. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna put fuel in there and we'll give it a pull. There's fuel in there. I'm gonna double check the oil. So like I said, it's a little dirty, but it's actually not that bad. So now, let's give it a pull this is a personal pace, so it's a little difficult to check the wheels. I have to lift it up and push it. It's annoying, but we'll check the wheels, and then as long as that's good, we'll change the oil, plug, and balance and sharpen the blades. So the cable needs to be adjusted, but that's easy enough. It's not too much of a problem. Yeah, starts for first pull. I'm liking it. That bag is going to be recycled. Well, the fabric, not that gold weighted or covered frame. So, yep, I'm going to get it changed, and we should be set to go. So if you have a Toro, it's been sitting outside, it's not starting, you probably just have a carb problem. But first, double check if your choke is even closing. Like I said, these engines, and especially the older ones, they like to fail on that category, but the carb itself is fine. So you never even have to touch the carb, you just have to replace the little auto choke mechanism on the exhaust. Luckily we didn't have to do that, so it's a fairly easy and cheap process. Has non-ethanol in there now. That bowl should be fine as long as it has fuel in it for non-ethanol. If it doesn't, then we're going to want to drain it out so it doesn't continue to do that. So, you know, there's a little bit of upkeep when you do this, but to be honest, you should be doing that with any engine, especially small engine. Okay, well, I'll catch you. Oh. That's why. I just flipped over and I saw this. Check this out. This is the carb for the old ones. So, that bracket that we had a hard time playing the linkage on replaces this. And then there's usually another piece right here that mounts, and it goes on this linkage that's kind of jammed in there. And then that linkage then connects to this horrendous arm, and then that arm is then connected to the auto choke mechanism. So there's a whole lot of stuff that can go wrong with this. So this one is better, so hopefully we won't have to worry too much about these engines in the future. But I just want to show you the clear difference between these two. Okay, catch you in the next one. If you like what you see, keep on watching, put a thumbs up, that helps me a lot. See you in the next video. Have a good day, and don't forget to subscribe.